Okay, good morning everybody. I hope you can see what we just put up on the screen.
Yes, we can see, yes.
Okay, my name's Mike Bradford. I'm Academic Director for Bellerbys College, Oxford. And what I want to do is just go through a few slides and tell you a little bit about the college. In September 2014, we specialised in arts, humanities and law, and we're still quite excited about that. We've been doing it for a year, but actually those specialisms mean that we can really focus on being the best at supplying and delivering those programs. So to support that, we've got specialist teachers, we've got professional photographers, we've got people with law degrees to teach law, and we've got some lovely facilities here. As you can see there, we've got art studios top right, we've got a cafe area, and top left we've got what they call a green screen room. I'm not an expert on that, but for all of the media work that we do, there's opportunities to produce videos and editing and that kind of thing. So if that's the sort of thing you're into, then Oxford is the place to come. Okay, we have, in terms of residents, we currently have about 50%, about half of our students in homestay and half in residence, and we've got 3 residences at different locations in the city, and which each have ensuite facilities, and depending on the age of the student we offer catering or not catering depending on the requirements. What we try to be, we're quite a small college, so at the moment we're just over 200 students, but I think that gives us a real benefit because it means we can be very student focused, and it's quite an intimate college. Everybody gets to know each other, so it's a really good atmosphere, particularly now that we're doing more arts. I think the whole atmosphere in the college is more about creative and people having a good time and really getting to know each other. Yeah, okay. So, we've got, this was 2014, we got some really good, strong A-level results. I think that goes across the board. Actually, we're very proud of our foundation results as well. And you can see there, I've scribbled some notes on there previously, that in 2014 we got 83% of students into Russell Group universities, which, depending on what you're interested in, can be something that's quite important to you. And again, really good foundation results. The benefit of foundation, of course, is you've only got 1 year, whereas A-level you've got 2 years. But we do have a really good range of progression routes to lots of different universities. So foundation can be a really good way of getting into universities. Whether you're on A-level or foundation, we pride ourselves here in Oxford in trying to prepare you for university. So at the end of the day, it is about results. You've got to get the results to get into university, but we try not to be an exam machine. We try to be about trying to develop students, trying to develop your independence, so that when you get to university you can really make the most of that opportunity. And that opportunity will be quite different to what we offer at Oxford. At university, the numbers are much bigger, you're expected to do much more for yourselves. In Oxford, what we try and do is bridge the difference between being at a school and getting to university, so that by the time you leave Oxford you understand what's required of you, how to operate independently, and as I said, make the most of university. We offer career guidance and obviously a lot of support for your UCAS applications. In I think any term now, we offer 3 hours of tutorial, and obviously at the beginning a lot of that is focused in the autumn and spring terms in making sure that you have a really strong application to make to the universities. The biggest part of that application is what we call a personal statement, and that's really a selling document. It's about you telling the university why you're the best thing that they've ever seen and why they should really want you to be a part of their organisation. So what we do is coach you and advise you and steer you to create that personal statement that really makes a difference and interests the universities so that you get good offers. So what universities are really after is independent students, students who are prepared to stick up for themselves, who are really interested in what's going on around them, and that's an inquiring mind. So that's what we really try to create in Oxford, and having arts, humanities and law working together is a really good combination to enable you to immerse yourself in those discussions and develop your debating abilities, your thoughts, your opinions to prepare you for university. One of the things we've recently, in the last academic year, so we've run it for a full year now, introduced is enrichment, and that's really important. Enrichment is we try to do the things that you can't do in the classroom. So it is academic related, but it's trying to give you the opportunities to go out, go into other art studios, go and look at exhibitions. If you're interested in law, go and sit in the law courts, have a go at actually enacting a law situation in a court. It's trying to give you all the things you couldn't normally do in the classroom, and give you that exposure. And the reason we think that's so important is that when you get back to your personal statement, when you get to interviews with universities, the fact that you've had this exposure and you've got a much broader and a much more interest in what you're trying to do is something that the universities really pick up on. So we think enrichment is a really important part of, if you like, your academic studies. Right, I've got a video here which I'm going to attempt to play, which will tell you a little bit more about Oxford. I apologise in advance because you're going to see my ugly face on there, but hopefully it will give you a feel for what Oxford is about, if it'll work. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, let me just see whether I can bring that up. Let me just see if I can bring the video up. Not sure where. I don't understand why that hasn't worked.
No, it looked like it was embedded in it, so.
Is that just the same?
Ooh, you just pushed the play button, right?
I did do, yeah.
So we have a area that we can.
Oh, that's got it. Sorry about that. Bellerbys Oxford is a college specialising in arts, humanities and law.
Oxford itself is a hub of education, so we have people from all over the world coming to study. So one good thing about being a humanities student in Oxford is there is a whole network of people you can meet in Oxford.
Our objective is to get our students into the best college possible for their abilities. We're very proud to say that we've had considerable success
in getting students into Russell Group universities?
I arrived here about 3 weeks ago, and I was completely foreign to Oxford, but I came straight to the school. I didn't know how to get to my accommodation. They provided me with a map. They drew how to get from here to my accommodation, which was really, really helpful. And they were really, really friendly. They brought us a tour around the school.
Bellerbys have made an investment in a whole range of equipment to support the creative needs of our students. We've invested in video filming equipment, and we have a full Mac suite, 3D printing, which we're all extremely excited about.
Humanities itself, the investment made is for the enrichment programs, so ensuring students have access to outdoor activities. They have a wonderful enrichment program which is working alongside their studies, which means that they are able to explore their specialisms in more depth outside of their classrooms. Oxford is a very good city for students to come and learn in. For an international student, they have a great exposure. It's very student-oriented.
We're very fortunate to be a part of a city that is steeped in history. We have a full range of museums. We have active theatres.
We have an enormously rich, multicultural and creative environment for them to immerse themselves in.
My ambition is to become a lawyer. When I came here, I saw the program, what we're going to study. It gets me updated with the world. It allows me to keep up with the current events of the world.
We get a lot of speakers coming in. We've just had Lord Bradshaw from the House of Lords coming in to explain to students what goes on in the House of Lords. We've got parliamentary candidates from the three main parties coming in, solicitors, barristers. All of this will supplement the teaching we're doing.
We're going to the Crown Court here in Oxford, and I think next week we're going to the Parliament in London. So that's something for me to look forward to, and I'm really, really excited. My favorite part about Bellerbys Oxford is that I could approach my teachers anytime that I want, and they're most likely to be free from me. I could just talk to them as if they're like my friends.
After being here for a year, you tend to get to know them very well. And I'm still in contact with many students who've gone on to university and gone on to successful law careers, and they keep in touch, which I think is nice.
And so it's really enriching for our course because it's so relevant to what we're studying, what we're doing. And it actually shows us what happens in the real world.
My favorite part about working at Bellerbys itself is the variety of students that we get from all over the world. It really makes the place very interesting because it exposes us to so many different viewpoints.
As academic director, one of the benefits of my job is to watch students arrive at this college unfamiliar with the UK and either 1 or 2 years later see being capable and well equipped to make the most of their further education opportunities.
Right. Okay. I should also. So I hope you found that useful, and we feel it's quite a good sort of representation of what we're about and what we're offering. Just some other things. I mentioned enrichment. The other thing that we run outside of the classrooms, if you like, is the sports and social side. So we have various clubs running at different times during the week, and it's up to you really how much you want to get involved and what you want to do. But obviously, for some people, things like critical thinking and debating society are really good. We send students off to different cities in the UK to do Model UN, which is an opportunity to join sort of group debating and stuff with people and strangers. So really good experience. And we've got lots of other clubs running all the time. We get other specialist people in. We arrange trips, one of which is very popular, is to the Harry Potter studios, and we feed off that visit and get various activities and work projects as a result of going to that event. There's some of our students enjoying themselves. We've got media running, so we've got, as you saw in the video, we've got Mac suites, editing suites, and we've got the Art Hub, which is a sort of collaboration of local artists. I think that's probably all I wanted to say at the moment. I mean, I hope that has given you an idea of what Oxford is about. Are there any specific questions? I'm not sure. If you want to email, if you want to chat and put any questions on, we'll attempt to answer those. If you would prefer to start a sort of email discussion, then we're always available to do that. Should I give my address?
If you want, or mine.
Yeah. In the first instance, if you want to email me, so I'm mbradford@studygroup.com, or find any other sort of links on the website to us and come in that way, then I can direct your questions or any concerns that you have to different members of staff. We would very much welcome your input or thoughts or concerns, and we're always anxious to try and help and give you support. We're going to leave this line open for, I don't know, I guess about another 5 or so minutes. So if you do have any specific questions, please ask me. I'm just wondering if I can. Right. Okay, so enlarge that. So that's my email address, and if you just want to make a note of that, if you've got any questions, obviously I'm more on the academic side, more about courses. If there's people out there who are concerned about A-level options, then I will probably direct you to my A-level program manager, who's a guy called Bob Mitchell. If you're interested in foundation law, then I may direct you to one of the other program managers. We've got Tanya Prescott and Louise Pike, who know an awful lot about those particular pathways and the options for universities and that kind of thing. You know, we're always happy to try and help. And in fact, I'll put up, can I put yours up, Adam?
Yeah.
So, right, so it's A-Gold E-I-N at, oh, that's kind of funny, no, isn't it?
Let's go capitals.
Oh, it's because I hit it, I suppose. Right, Adam's been very quiet in this. We had a few, it's my fault, we had a few technology issues this morning, otherwise he would have made more of a contribution. Adam is currently working on our enrichment and social, sports and social programs, so knows everything about that. So if there was anything there that interested you, or you thought of something you might want to do, then please feel free to email him, and Adam will try and come back to you, but we're more than happy to answer your questions. Right. Okay.
Hello, Mike, Adam.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I had to sort of go off. Has the webinar concluded?
Well, I've literally just stopped talking, actually, Bayer. So everybody's happy.
Okay.
We've done the video, we've been through all sorts of things. We've just posted up on the screen both mine and Adam's email addresses, and we've just said we'd remain open for 5 minutes if anybody did want to ask anything by on the text sort of wall thing.
Perfect.
But other than that,
I've just seen a couple of questions.
Okay.
Oh, brilliant. I've just seen a couple of questions that have come in now, so I can actually read them back if that's okay. So we've got one question saying, is the enrichment program incorporated into the study process? In a sense, are students free to choose enrichment activities?
Hi there, I'll answer that one as the enrichment officer. So what happens during enrichment is that the teachers will look at the scheme of work for the year or the term, and we will go and find enrichment activities that support that scheme of work. For example, recently the business group were doing something connected well with the BMW mini plant trip. They went on that trip. So all those students did have to, in that particular business class, did have to go on that trip, which is paid for by Bellerbys and the transport and so on and so forth. So it's not something that they would choose necessarily. However, in the clubs that Mike was talking about, things like Model UN, debate, critical thinking, those are, anybody can go for any of those clubs. Some are more academic than others, like the debate club or Model UN, and we want more students to be in those academic enrichment clubs. Likewise, we also have the sports and social clubs like football, basketball, badminton, and art. So all the clubs are open to anyone, but the actual enrichment that's connected to your scheme of work or your subject, you will be sort of taking part. It's compulsory. Now, obviously, different scheme of works, different studies, different subjects have quite a range of different experiences because they connect to their sort of academic studies. Does that make sense?
Fantastic. No, thank you, Adam. Does that answer your question, Anna? Oh, yes. We've got a yes. We've got another couple of questions that are asking.
Oh, right.
Maybe we should put it up, I don't know.
Can't display all the academic programs. Oh, I'm afraid. The best. I don't know. Bay, are you still there? I'm not sure if people can hear me, but
Hello, hi. Sorry, Mike. I think we cut out for a second. Sorry. There was another question that came in asking, at what age should students that are interested in art join the centre?
Gosh, that's a good question. It depends a bit on where your end goal is. Obviously, A level is 2 years. You could come in and do GCSE for a year as a precursor to joining foundation. Normally, the reason I hesitate is normally we work backwards from the university entrance date, because although the universities will take under 18s, generally we try and match it so that you are 18 by the time you join them. In the UK now, there are all sorts of safeguarding requirements about under 18s, and the universities find that quite difficult to cope with. So generally, depending on which route you want to do, you need to make sure that you are just turned 18 when you would naturally go to university. There was a question here about display all the academic programs from Vivian. I mean, instantly, I don't think I can't think of a document that would do that very successfully. I would suggest you look at the prospectus. Hey, is our prospectus online or?
It is actually, but what I can do actually, Vivian, is I will take a PDF of the Oxford Centre page of all of the actual academic programmes, and I'll email that on to you because I have your email address from your join-in, so that's absolutely fine.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks, Bayo.
That's fine. And we have a question from the team in Knowledge Zone. Hi guys, asking what the entry requirements are from students in the Middle East. Are there any specific countries within that you're inquiring about within the Middle East?
And what particular program as well? It does vary slightly from program.
Sure. So from the Gulf region, and are there any particular programs? So no particular. Okay, so you're asking essentially for A-level foundation in GCSE.
I'd have to refer to the brochure myself. I know on foundation, the key thing on foundation is it's a one-year course. So you need to have a minimum of 4.5 IELTS, ideally 5 really, I would have said, but we do accept 4.5. Because otherwise you really struggle in a year to get through all of the work. And I think on A-level it's a level 5 in IELTS, I think. I'd have to check that.
That's correct, yes.
Other than that, we tend to look at your secondary education, and we can map it across into equivalent sort of qualifications. So if you have been reasonably successful in secondary education, then under most circumstances I think we would be able to accept you. The only thing that I've personally seen, which isn't a barrier but can be an issue sometimes, is coming out of the Gulf region can be maths. And you know, but don't worry about that. If you have not had much exposure to maths, then you know, we can put on extra tuition and that kind of thing. The reason I mention that is particularly on foundation. If you went, for instance, for foundation business, there is a module on there, a maths module, which is a sort of hybrid of a bit of GCSE, a bit of A-level, and that kind of thing. So it's a I suppose a reasonably stretching sort of module. If you'd done AS maths, you'd probably find it quite easy. If you've only done GCSE maths, you'd probably find it quite stretching. But there is a module there, and in the past I've known students struggle with that because they've come with and not had much exposure to maths. So if that's a concern, if you could let us know, then that's a big help to us, because obviously we'll try and look at giving you support for that.
Fantastic. Are there any other questions, anybody?
I think we're about up now.
I think we're good. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for attending this webinar, and a big thank you as well to our team in Oxford, to Mike and Adam for the fantastic session. What I will do is, so for you, Vivian, I'll send you on that matrix of all of the actual subject areas. That's absolutely fine. For you guys at Knowledge Zone, I'll make sure I give you a complete breakdown of the specific grades required per region. We do have an actual entry grid, so I'll send that on to you. But any other further questions or queries, I'll make sure that you all have my email address, and feel free to get in touch. But again, thank you for your time.
That's great. Thank you very much for joining us today. Really appreciate that. And as I say, if there's any questions, if you want to come through Bao or come through me and Adam at any time, we'll try and answer your questions. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, Bao.
Bye. Cheers. Thanks.
I think I found